Witnesses claimed the Tigris River did something impossible. They said its waters ran black, as if the river itself were mourning. They said the color came from ink, the ink of scholars, poets, astronomers, and philosophers, all washed away in a single week that changed the world forever. This is the story of how the greatest city on earth fell. For 500 years, Baghdad wasn't just a city, it was a beacon, a place where the world's brightest minds gathered. At the heart of it stood the legendary House of Wisdom, a magnificent library and research center where Greek philosophy, Persian astronomy, and Indian mathematics were translated into Arabic, preserved, and expanded. Knowledge flowed through its halls like a river. Algebra, optics, medicine, engineering, discoveries that shaped civilizations. But by the year 1258, Baghdad's brilliance was fading, and few realized how vulnerable the jewel of the world had become. The Abbasid Empire was only a shadow of its former power. Its territories had shrunk, its influence weakened, and at its head was Caliph al-Mustasim, a ruler known more for piety than leadership. But the greatest danger came not from the caliph himself, but from those whispering in his ear. His vizier, Ibn al-Alqami, believed surrender was the only path. Military commanders believed Baghdad was invincible. And the caliph? He believed both and neither. A city of 1 million people guided by indecision. Far to the east, another ruler watched, Mongol Khan, the great Khan of the Mongol Empire. He demanded that every kingdom either submit or disappear. To carry out this command, he chose Hulagu Khan, his brother, a man with a reputation for crushing cities without mercy. His mission was clear: sweep through Persia, eliminate the assassins of Alamut, and then deal with Baghdad. The Mongols had already conquered China, Korea, Central Asia, and Persia. Baghdad was next. Hulagu Khan gathered one of the largest Mongol armies ever formed for a single campaign. Tens of thousands of Mongol cavalry, Persian and Turkic auxiliaries, and most dangerous of all, elite Chinese siege engineers. These were the masters of catapults, trebuchets, gunpowder bombs, and stone throwers, powerful enough to shatter the thickest walls. This wasn't just an army, it was a moving machine built to erase cities. When Hulagu Khan approached Baghdad, he sent letters demanding surrender. Cities that submitted lived. Cities that refused vanished. But Baghdad's court was drowning in politics. Some advisors said the Mongols were bluffing. Some said Allah would protect the city. Others warned that resistance meant certain destruction. In the end, the caliph chose the worst path possible. He insulted the Mongols and sent a weak army to teach them a lesson. Hulagu's reply? A promise. I will make you pay for your arrogance. Baghdad expected help from its neighbors, Egypt, Syria, the Seljuks, but none came. The Abbasids were busy fighting each other. The Seljuks were weakened by internal rivalry, and the caliph's own allies distrusted him. The Abbasids had spent decades isolating themselves, and now, when they needed friends, they had none. As Hulagu Khan's army approached, the greatest city in the world realized far too late that it stood alone. In late 1257, as winter tightened its grip on Persia, the Mongol army began its final march toward Baghdad. They crossed the jagged Zagros Mountains, icy cliffs, narrow passes, brutal winds, terrain that should have slowed any army. But the Mongols were not any army. They moved with terrifying discipline. Scouts swept ahead like shadows. Engineers surveyed every river and hill. By the time the people of Baghdad realized the Mongols had crossed the mountains, Hulagu's banners were already rising on their horizon. By January 125 AD, the Mongols reached the outskirts of Baghdad, and they wasted no time. Within days, they built a ring of fortifications around the entire city. Trenches, earthen walls, wooden palisades. No one could leave, no one could enter. Baghdad had been cut off from the world. The people watched in horror as Mongol siege towers grew taller each day, as catapults were assembled piece by piece, as soldiers took positions like wolves circling a trapped animal. Baghdad was now a sealed jar, waiting to crack. Desperate to break the siege, the Caliph ordered a sudden attack, a sortie, hoping to surprise the Mongols. But Hulagu had expected it. The Abbasid cavalry charged out of the city gates and rode straight into a trap. Hidden Mongol detachments emerged from behind the trenches, encircling them. The Tigris River, swollen by winter rains, trapped the Abbasid soldiers from the other side. Many drowned trying to escape. Baghdad lost thousands of its best fighters in a single morning. The Mongols lost almost none. Hulagu understood something vital. Baghdad drew its strength from the Tigris River. So he decided to turn the river itself into a weapon. Mongol engineers diverted the flow of water and destroyed the dikes protecting the eastern defenses. In a single night, a massive wave surged toward Baghdad's outer fortifications. Floodwaters drowned the Caliph's remaining troops stationed outside the walls. Defensive towers collapsed. Siege positions were swept away. The Abbasids had built their defenses to withstand armies, but not the river that gave them life. With the outer defenses destroyed, Hulagu unleashed his greatest advantage, the Chinese siege engineers. Massive trebuchets called Hui Hui Pao were assembled. These machines could hurl stones weighing hundreds of kilograms, and they did, day and night. Stones smashed into Baghdad's walls. Firebombs exploded on rooftops. The ground shook with each impact. The city, once alive with scholars and merchants, now echoed only with the sound of destruction. People prayed, children cried. The Caliph waited for a miracle that never came. Inside Baghdad, panic spread faster than fire. Food supplies dwindled, markets emptied, families hid in basements as bombardments shook the streets. Rumors spread that the Mongols would show no mercy, that the Caliph had no plan, and that betrayal had already begun. Some begged the Caliph to surrender. Others warned that surrender would lead to slaughter. And so, the people waited, trapped between fear and hope as the walls around them crumbled little by little. Just when Baghdad needed unity the most, the commanders began to divide. Some military leaders defected to the Mongols, hoping to save themselves. Some opened secret negotiations with Hulagu. Some simply abandoned their posts. Worst of all, the relationship between the Caliph and his vizier collapsed into mistrust. Each blamed the other for the disaster. With no coordinated defense, no clear leadership, and no faith left in their rulers, Baghdad's fate was sealed long before the Mongols breached its walls. Inside Baghdad's walls, the situation collapses. Food is nearly gone. Wells run dry. Soldiers guard empty granaries while families boil leather to survive. The Abbasid commanders argue whether to attempt a breakout, but with what horses, what weapons, what hope? Al-Mustasim, who once ruled the richest city on earth, now receives only one message from Hulagu: surrender completely or be erased from history. But still, the Caliph delays, perhaps hoping for a miracle from Egypt, from Syria, from anywhere. None come. The scholars of the House of Wisdom record their final notes. Astronomers hide their prized astrolabes. Doctors burn medical texts so they don't fall into enemy hands. The greatest library in the world prepares for the worst. At last, realizing the walls cannot hold, Al-Mustasim sends envoys to negotiate. But this is not the confident Abbasid Caliphate of old. This is a desperate city, out of food and out of time. Hulagu rejects half measures. He demands the unconditional surrender of Baghdad. No conditions, no negotiation, no dignity offered. On February 10th, 1258, Al-Mustasim opens the gates. Hulagu does something unexpected. Instead of attacking immediately, he orders the population out of the city. Men separated from women, scholars separated from soldiers, every street, every alley is now under Mongol control. Then, the unimaginable begins. For 7 days, the Mongol army sweeps through Baghdad. Streets filled with centuries of culture become silent. Mosques, palaces, hospitals all fall. The Mongols spare neither noble nor commoner. Chroniclers estimate anywhere from 100,000 to nearly 1 million lives lost. The true number lost in the smoke of history. But the greatest wound? The destruction of the House of Wisdom, the scientific heart of the Golden Age. Books on mathematics, astronomy, medicine, thrown into the Tigris. Some say the river ran black with ink for days. Whether literal or symbolic, the message is clear. An age ends here. And you might be thinking that what happened of the Caliph? Well, Hulagu refuses to shed royal blood, not out of mercy, but superstition. So he orders a different execution. Al-Mustasim is placed inside a carpet, rolled so tightly he cannot move, and trampled by horses. With his death, the Abbasid Caliphate, which had ruled the Islamic world for over 500 years, comes to an end. A dynasty older than many kingdoms simply disappears. The city that once dazzled travelers now lies silent. Canals that once fed the city for centuries are destroyed. Irrigation systems collapse. Farmlands turn to dust. Baghdad, once the beating heart of the world's knowledge, enters a long period of decline. Even the Mongols, shocked by the scale of destruction, realized the value of what was lost. But Hulagu had made his point. No power, no empire, no dynasty was beyond the reach of the Mongol storm. And so, the Middle East changes forever. The fall of Baghdad in 1258 is more than a battle. It is a moment in world history. It marks the end of the Islamic Golden Age. It reshapes the map of the Middle East. It shatters ancient systems and clears the way for new powers to rise. But history is never just about destruction. Baghdad would one day rise again. Knowledge would return, and scholars, centuries later, would rebuild what was lost. This is why we study history, to understand the fragile threads that hold civilizations together and how quickly they can unravel. This was the Siege of Baghdad, a moment when the world changed in a single week.